How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to J and K's podcast. I'm Joseph.
I'm Keegan.
Today we're going to be talking about social identity and intersectionality. So Keegan's going to interview me in a few questions. You'll figure out a little more about my life.
So the first question we have today, how do you define your social identity?
So the way I see social identity is kind of my class growing up, my race as well, kind of my gender, my religious beliefs. It's also kind of how I see myself, but how others see me as well. And kind of my religion, your class, it all kind of shapes who you are as a person, the experiences you're going to have, kind of the privileges you're going to have in life. And that's kind of how I see my social identity. I think it's important to focus on, but I also think, you shouldn't focus on someone's social identity so much because sometimes if you maybe don't agree with their religion or something of that nature, it can create problems as well.
What have you learned about the intersections of yourself?
So I've kind of learned that my identity is a lot of different things combined into one. There's a lot of different aspects to your identity. You're not just kind of one person, and this is always going to change as well. And these intersections you have, they're going to create disadvantages for you that maybe you don't have any control over, but they'll also create maybe advantages for you that you don't have control over as well. And then the experiences you have, maybe your upbringing or where you grew up and things of those nature can kind of just change the experiences of your life. Yeah.
How do you view your intersections as important or not important, and why?
I think they're important, like I was saying earlier, to understand your intersections, and who you are as a person. But I don't always think it's important to really focus on these with people because your intersections, obviously include like gender and race and such. And it's important to understand someone's gender and race and the history behind it, but you shouldn't judge someone, just based off that. And I think it's important to understand too that a lot of intersections, they change over time. We're always changing. We're always learning new things. And so I think it's important to know what they are, but not to always solely focus on them.
And how do you understand these intersections, and if they've helped you at all, could you explain?
So I think it kind of creates self-awareness about other groups of people, maybe marginalized groups. You can recognize your privileges in life, but also where you're not privileged in life. Biases in life, but also not where you're biased in life, And by being able to recognize these biases and privileges, you can, try to improve it, make it better. It also can help shape conversations with other people about, inclusion, maybe empathy and such. And this is a way to, by understanding people's intersections, you can get to know them a lot better, understand them at a deeper level, and kind of try to help maybe inequalities that happen from people's intersections.
Do you view leadership differently after this?
So leadership, I look at it a little different now because I'm able to understand that, people, their identity it's very complex. And to be a good leader, you need to understand people's identity fully, their intersections fully. So before this, I didn't really understand that. So now that I understand that, I view leadership more as a personal connection with somebody. It's not kind of like I'm the boss, you're the worker type thing, but it's more of like you need to be a good leader, to be a good boss or manager, anything like that. You need to understand people at a deeper level. You need to kind of know the experiences they've had, their intersections in life, and being able to understand that will help you kind of connect with them and, just have a better relationship with them as well. It's kind of like a leading from the front is the way I look at it. By leading from the front, you're not standing in the background. You're actually taking the effort to, meet the people that you're leading, to know them on a deeper level and to understand them, which will help you lead them in a positive, better direction. And it'll also help you become a more understanding person as well.
How do your social identities impact your understanding of your own vocation?
So regarding my own vocation, I'm still not exactly sure what I want to do right now, but I'm thinking kind of like a manager, kind of like I was saying in the last question, a business manager. And understanding my social identities definitely impact this because my career choices are going to be more influenced now by trying to make more of a difference, in people's lives. And it's also going to shape my identity will shape kind of my leadership style as well, where I focus more on, like I said, leading from the front, understanding people at a deeper level instead of kind of just, if I'm a manager of a business, I'm not just going to have workers come in and they're just workers, I'm going to try to understand them more as like a friend, it just creates a very comforting, workplace for the person, and kind of more of like a family thing for work as well. And it also understanding my social identities also for my vocation. It kind of helps me know careers maybe where I might have advantages over other people or maybe barriers, from other people, and understanding where maybe you have advantages in certain vocations can help you understand, how to help people who have a disadvantage in that, how to make it more, equity. And then also the barriers as well. You can understand how to overcome those barriers.
The next thing is, how do you view your social identity differently?
How do I view my social identity? Yeah, so kind of doing this, I understand my social identity at a deeper level, I'd say. I've never really thought about it too much, but by really thinking about it, I've been able to my identity is a lot more complex than I realized before this, to be honest. And by being able to understand my social identity at a deeper level, I'm able to understand myself at a deeper level, which helps me kind of guide myself. For example, looking for a job coming up soon. I'm about to graduate here in a couple months. I need to really understand myself fully, to get a job where I'm passionate about it. So by being able to, know my social identity at a very deep level, I'm able to understand what vocation, will fit me the best.
How do you view society differently?
Yes, I understand more of the inequalities in society now, I think, that have to do with intersections. You understand the privileges you have, but you also understand the privileges that you don't have as well, And by being able to understand those, you can help people who are not as privileged, and then also understand how to, in situations you're not, you don't have the privilege, you can understand how to hopefully make those more of a equality, situation as well.
How has your position changed since learning your intersections of identity?
Yeah, so since learning my intersections of identity, kind of just have a greater awareness of my identity, but also other people's identity as well. It's not looking at them like don't judge a book by its cover. You got to really understand who people are fully, their intersections, and this helps you just become kind of a more well-rounded person, more educated person, more intellectual about it. And it kind of also makes more, you're more open as well, and just kind of a shift in maybe how you would approach leadership, for example, or something. Because now that you understand people's intersections better and understand the social identity is not just kind of one thing, but it's many, many things coming together, and it changes constantly over time, who you are as a person. So being able to understand this can help you just, connect with people in all aspects of life.
And finally, what did you learn about yourself?
Yeah, so through this I learned about myself. I learned, kind of as I was saying, that your identity is a lot more complex than I thought it was, at least my identity. And being able to understand this helps me understand myself better, but also helps me understand other people better, because now when I talk to people, I'm going to try to really get to know them, on a personal level, because there's a lot more to the surface than what you see, obviously, with people. And kind of just also helped me learn kind of recognize how my personal identity shapes my values and my beliefs in life as well, and is hopefully going to shape my future and my future relationship with people as well. All right,
that's it.
Thank you guys for listening today. This was JK Podcast.